Did the Civil War feature early submarine-like vessels in river combat? Imagine a tiny boat slipping silently through the water, ready to strike under the cover of darkness. During the American Civil War, such vessels did exist, marking some of the first uses of submarine-like technology in warfare. Both the Union and Confederate sides experimented with these small, primitive submarines to challenge traditional naval power. The most famous of these was the Confederate H.L. Hunley, built in Charleston, South Carolina. It was about 35 feet long, powered by a crew turning hand cranks, and carried a spar torpedo, a bomb attached to a long pole. Its goal was to sink enemy ships by diving beneath them and exploding the torpedo. In 1864, the Hunley became the first submarine to successfully sink an enemy warship, the USS Housatonic. This was a huge milestone in naval history. However, the Hunley was lost shortly after the attack, showing how dangerous early submarine technology was. Other Confederate submarines were built in places like Shreveport, Louisiana, by the Singer Submarine Company. These vessels were about 40 feet long, made of iron, and also powered by hand cranks. They carried contact torpedoes on poles meant to explode on contact with ships. Most of these never saw combat because the war ended before they could be used effectively. On the Union side, the submarine called the Alligator was developed with some innovative features. It had an early air purification system, a periscope, and even a primitive form of self-propelled torpedoes. The plan was for it to destroy Confederate ironclads and clear river obstructions. Sadly, the Alligator was lost in a storm before it could take part in combat. These early submarines mainly operated in rivers, harbors, and coastal waters where traditional ships fought. They were a new way to try to break blockades and surprise enemies in tight waterways. But they had many limits. They moved slowly, around 3 to 4 knots, and their crews faced dangers like flooding and suffocation. Despite their limited success, these vessels showed that innovation in naval warfare was already happening during the Civil War. They paved the way for the modern submarines we see today. So yes, the Civil War did feature early submarine-like vessels in river and coastal combat, with the H.L. Hunley standing out as the most famous example. These small, risky boats introduced new tactics and technology that changed naval warfare forever.